What is up? Welcome back to the Viking Boys. I am Jake, and today we are going to be continuing our rental property series and talking about how listening to Grant Cardone could be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Grant preaches that the only option is to buy these massive complexes. I'm talking huge apartment complexes that might add up to, 50 to $100 million. And he preaches over and over that this is the safest and the only way to buy real estate, and that buying something smaller isn't worth it whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying going big and buying apartments is a negative. I'm just all about getting started where you can. And for a lot of people, getting started in some big complex, let's even say a 10 unit or a 20 unit, is just not that realistic. And while Grant might say that anything, smaller, 1 to 2, a duplex or, a fourplex is a terrible idea, personally, from personal experience, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars very shortly by taking down those types of properties. And these properties are gonna have a much lower barrier to entry than some of those big apartment complexes. If you're working a normal job and you can put, let's say $20, $30, $40, $50,000 set aside, you're able to buy one of these properties. Whereas on the opposite side, you're going to have to either raise capital, which a lot of people don't know how to do, or you're going to have $5, $10 million set aside to throw down on one of these properties. Another side that's not talked about very often is the loan options. If you're buying a 1 to 4 unit building, you can use a traditional Fannie Freddie loan compared to if you're buying from 5 and up, you have to qualify for a commercial loan, which is going to be much harder. You have to have a certain net worth, you have to have experience, running these types of deals. And a lot of times you have to have a certain amount of liquid capital set aside to run these deals. I'm going to jump over on the whiteboard and break down one of our recent deals, one of these small little 1 to 4 units, that had paid us right at closing, cash flow, and has added a huge chunk to our net worth. We're over here at the whiteboard. We're going to be referring to this property as Stetson, as that is the property address and name. Stetson. Guys, this property was a fourplex. We bought it for $400,000, which is $100,000 a door. We kind of felt that might be a little bit high, but at the same time, there's like next to nothing on the market. And we knew at the current rents, we'd be able to increase those drastically. So purchase price, $400,000. Go ahead and start there. We put $40,000 down. We took it down with a hard money loan. We knew this was going to be under market value, so what we did is we took it down with a hard money loan. Even though it's a little higher interest, we had intentions of refinancing as fast as possible. So we had a loan on this of $360,000. What we did right away, one of the units was actually vacant, so we updated that one immediately and went ahead and rented it up. The previous rents were $800. We spent about $25,000 in that particular unit, and we were able to raise the rents from $800 all the way up to $1,250. So once we raised to that rent, we went ahead and asked another tenant to go ahead and move out. It's part of the business. You're gonna have to run into it. It's a terrible thing to do, but at the same time, you're buying it for an investment, and it's gonna be one of those hard conversations. If you're buying rental properties, guys, you have to get used to having that tough conversation with some of these tenants. So then we went ahead and kicked that second person out, and we put the same amount of money into that unit, 25, 30 grand. After we had updated that second unit, we had spent about $60,000 in total in repairs and updates to the property. We're gonna put $60,000 here, and that's gonna bring our total to $460,000 total into this deal. Granted, we already have 40 grand into it. So right now, we're all out of pocket $100,000. So then this is a way to make money very quickly. So what we did is once the property was fully rented, which we were able, like I said, we were able to raise those 2 units rents from $800 up to $1,250. We had another tenant who was paying $800. She was in a slightly nicer unit. We went in and asked her to increase her rents or else she would have to move out. She offered to pay $1,000 a month with 0 updates. So that was really nice. And then the fourth unit was one of the rougher ones. We decided to just go ahead and refinance with her in place, paying the $800. So what we did is we had a appraisal done on the property, and what we were gonna do is do a cash out refi. And this is a way to get cash right away. So we had that appraisal done, and this property went ahead and appraised for $710,000. $710,000. So right now with COVID and everything going on, a lot of the lenders aren't willing to leverage quite as high. So on this particular deal, they were willing to give us a loan to value of 70%. So 70% of this value, I did the math on this before. So the loan amount is right around $500,000. So they're willing to give us a new loan of $500,000. Keep in mind, we still have our hard money loan in place at $360,000. So we're actually able to, if we wanted to, pull out $140,000 cash from this deal and keep it long-term and renting long-term. We actually decided not to pull out that full amount. We decided to pull out right around 100 grand, which if you keep in mind is exactly what we had into this deal. We had put $40,000 down and $60,000 in updates. So we decided not to over leverage it and leverage it as much as possible and to get a little bit more cash flow. So basically we decided to pull out all of our cash that we had into the deal, and we now own this deal free and clear. The second part of this is the cash flow aspect. So like I said, we have 2 units paying $1,250, 1 unit paying $1,000, and 1 unit paying $800. That comes out to $2,500, $4,300. So our current loan, like we said, being right around $460,000, with that new mortgage in place, including the insurance, taxes, yard maintenance, a little bit of a management fee that we pay ourselves, our total and expenses come out to $2,800 per month. So basically we are cash flowing $1,500 per month each and every month. And this is even before we turn that 4th unit to increase rents on that one. That third factor that I was telling you about over at the desk is the equity play. We had that thing appraised at $710,000. Keep in mind, this is only with 2 of the units fully updated. We have a loan in place for about $460,000. Keep in mind, we already pulled out $100,000 cash, and we have a $250,000 equity piece. Keep in mind, like I said, this is only with 2 of those units fully updated. If we decide to come back in, turn those, I can only imagine where this is gonna go. So we were able to, one, add $250,000 worth of equity. We pulled out $100,000 cash. Keep in mind, that's tax-free because it was a refinance. And we are cash flowing each and every single month, currently, $1,500. So although I don't agree with Grant on everything and saying that, these smaller properties are the only way to go, personally, I do want to get into bigger things. And the other really nice thing about properties just like this is, you have this equity piece right here. And what you're able to do is you're able to sell this property, which is what we intend to do, whether it's a year down the road, 2 years down the road, and 1031 this equity into something bigger. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or reach out to Luke and I directly. We're always here and happy to help. Till next time, we'll see you soon.